What's up? Today I am back again with another lesson on our weapon with the black pieces, and I wanted to show you a very evil gambit that you can use against white against the first move 1d4 in another variation of the Scandinavian. So without further ado, let's check the game out. But if this is your first time in the channel, then welcome. My name is Lwando. I am really happy that you have made it in the channel. Consider subscribing and enjoy more great chess content. But for now, let's check out the video. So if your opponent opens with the move 1e4, then yeah, you continue with the move 1d5, putting pressure on the e4 pawn, and most of your opponents will capture the pawn here on d5, which will arise to the position that we are about to analyze. But in another videos I will show you how to play against the move pawn e5 as well, so do stay tuned for more chess content upcoming. But for now, let's check out the move e takes d5. Then in this instance, instead of recapturing on d5 with the queen, you play the move knight to f6. You play knight f6 here, and your opponents have a pleasant option of going d4, or they may try to defend the pawn with the move pawn c4. In another video, I mentioned how to play against the move pawn d4, so you may check that out. The link will be in the description below. But for now, let's check out the move pawn c4. What if white defends the pawn here on d5, keeping the material advantage? And in this instance, I recommend that you transpose into this deadly gambit called the Icelandic Gambit with the move pawn e6. You sacrifice another pawn here for more development, as it is ideal when playing a gambit. Do just that. You sacrifice a pawn for quick leading in development, and you will start a successful attack due to your high activity. So most of your opponents will capture here on e6, and you will recapture with the bishop here, putting pressure on the c4 pawn. And in this game, by the way, this is actually the game that I played yesterday. So yeah, it is really a spectacular way of playing the game. So let's check that out. My opponent played knight c3, and in this case I played the move queen e7. So this move has two ideas in mind, which is to win the pawn here on c4, and also to continue development with the move knight to c6 and castling long. And in this instance, my opponent actually blundered the pawn here on d4. He thought maybe that I am intending to play knight c6 and castle long, but after the move pawn d4, I just captured the pawn back. Bishop takes c4. You will notice that this is a check to the opponent's king, so the bishop cannot capture here on c4. White is to address this issue over here, and my opponent played bishop to e2, covering the king. In this instance, I played knight c6, continuing my development. Notice that the bishop cannot capture here, as it covers the king from the check. My opponent played knight f3. I continued with long castling, which is my overall plan, to castle and to develop my pieces and connect my rooks so that I can start a successful attack. My opponent castled short, and here I played the move bishop takes on e2. It's really important that it's really important that in this position you capture it's really important that in this position that you capture this bishop here on e2, as the king has moved out of the way here. So if you instead play moves like g6, then you will actually lose your bishop, as there is no longer a king that is pinned by the queen, so you will actually lose material. So you need to do a quick anti-blunder check before playing such moves. So yeah, that was a small tip in your pockets. And my opponent played knight takes on e2, and here I played the move queen to e4, starting to put more pressure on the d4 pawn and preparing to develop my dark square bishop, as it was covered by the queen here. My opponent played bishop to e3, and here I actually played the move bishop to c5. As you can see that this move continues the development of the light squared, or sort of the dark squared bishop, and puts more pressure on the d4 pawn. But in this instance, I would like to ask you a real quick question. What do you think of the move bishop to c5? Is it a good move or a bad move, or just a normal move developing the bishop? Well, since I'm asking you, then you must know that there must be a catch. The move bishop to c5 in this position is actually a huge plan that I made. So it's funny enough that I played such a horrible move in such a good opening. So there is a way for white to exploit this silly mistake with the move knight to d2. So in this position, let's just say white plays the move knight to d2. This move will attack the queen, and as well it will cover this annoying pin by the rook from the white's queen, and black in this instance will lose their dark squared bishop. So what I could have done here instead is to perform an anti-blunder check before playing this move. Coming back in this position, I should have asked myself, okay, what is the idea behind the last opponent's move? Okay, he's developing a piece, the dark squared bishop, also defending this pawn over here. So how can I continue attacking this pawn? Well, I do have the move bishop to c5, putting strong pressure on this pawn. But then the crucial question comes: if I play the move bishop to c5, what are the forcing replies that my opponent can play? This includes the moves of checks, captures, and attacking moves. So if I play the move bishop to c5, they are at the moment there are no checks available, so my opponent can play a capture here, which is pawn takes on c5, but it's not a threat because I will win the queen. So we move on to the next forcing move, the attacking moves. So when playing the move bishop to c5, you can actually notice that the knight can go back to d2 and attack the queen. So that is an attacking move, and due to this threat, I would have been forced to move my queen out of the way, and then my opponent will capture here on c5 because the bishop will no longer be defended by the pin of the rook. So I would lose a piece in this instance. So in conclusion, the move bishop to d6 would be better than the move bishop to c5. So continuing the game, bishop to c5, and my opponent did not actually see the threat. He played queen b3 and here I retreated my bishop to b6 because there is no longer a pin in this file over here, and he played a4, starting a pawn assault in the queen side. But then I continued with the move knight g4, putting strong pressure on the e3 bishop, and in this instance he played rook ac1, putting his rook on a open file, x-raying my king potentially in the future. Then I played the move knight takes on e3. After e takes on, f takes on e3, I played rook h e8, and as you can see now, I am lining up my pieces towards this undefended pawn on e3. and I am putting strong pressure on white's position. He played the move king to f2 here, defending their pawn on e3, which I think is indeed not the best, because this gave black huge attacking chances in the game, as you will see later on. Black continued f5. It is ideal that when you see your opponent's king in the close proximity to the center, you might want to open the position up so that you can start a strong attack towards the king. So white played knight g3, attacking the queen. Then the queen slid to g4, and white continued with h3, attacking the queen as well. Queen moved back to g6 and knight h4, and here black continued queen to f6, attacking the knight over here, and with potential ideas of g5 and f4. And black played a horrible move in this position, but it actually did not matter that much, as white's position would be is actually winning right now, because black's king is too much exposed, and with white's, also black's army putting so much strong pressure on the white center, it is actually hard to defend the position. So the move king g1 was a terrible blunder, as you can see that it loses the knight in one move. Queen takes h4, and after white played the move knight takes on f5, black retreated the queen to g5. And I may understand that, as this was a blitz game, both players would have been in time trouble, but I feel like white could have continued with precise accuracy in this position, but it was actually hard to defend such a position with so much little time in the clock. So I may understand the white's perspective in this game. So let's continue. Rook f4 was played, and after g6, attacking the knight here on f5, the knight retreat, or the knight went to g7. And in this position, I would like you to pause the video and try to guess the move that black played in this position. So if you have found the move, congratulations, you are indeed a great attacking player. And the move that black played in this position is really spectacular. It's the move rook takes on e3. Boom. So this move removes the defender of the e3, also the defender of the rook. Sorry about that. It removes the defender of the f4 rook, and it baits the queen to capture the rook here on e3, as now the rook is currently undefended. So this is a really spectacular move. So white continued with queen takes on e3. Then I continued again with the most forcing moves. Remember that in my other video I told you that when you are looking for attacking moves, you need to divide the board into two halves and ask yourself, what attacking move can I make in my opponent's position that will take or attack something? So in this instance, you can actually see that with your queen, you currently have no logical moves available right now, because queen takes on f4 just loses the queen. So with your rooks, you can actually capture here on e4, which is indeed a good move, but it's not a forcing move, as it should force your opponent to defend, because white can continue with queen to e8 check ideas. So that might be more unpleasant. So moving on with your bishop, you can actually capture here on d4, which is indeed a more powerful move that I played myself, because after bishop takes on d4, then my opponent had no other pleasant option here, as all the moves are actually losing. In fact, after rook takes on d4, I have queen takes on a3 check, queen takes on a3 check, and as you can see, black is completely winning here. After any move, king h2 instead, there's queen takes d4 and black is lost. So coming on right here, after bishop takes on d4, queen takes on d4 just loses a queen to knight takes on e4, and black is completely winning. So my opponent played the move knight to e6 in this instance, and I continued with the move bishop takes on e3 check, and after the move king to h1, I continued again with the best move bishop takes on f4, and my opponent captured the queen on g5, and I captured the rook on c1, and as you can see, I have an extra rook and a bishop and a completely winning position. Time for white to pack bags and go home. And my opponent played 98. Then I continued with rook d1 check. After king h2, knight d4, and white continued with a more horrible move g4, which loses the knight all the way, and black captured the knight and white resigned. So it is a really interesting game that we just analyzed, and we have learned a lot of options that you need to perform the anti-blunder check always when playing the game of chess, and that attacking moves are the best moves as they may win you lots of your games. Hope that you enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you soon.